I'm a big football fan. Every Sunday, you can catch me watching 7 hours of commercial-free football action with Scott Hansen on the NFL Red Zone channel. I coach flag football and even consult with other coaches under my Flag Football with Coach D brand. It's a large part of who I am, and I'm into it for sure. Now, football is a game of copycats. Everyone knows it. It's not a secret. If I see Jalen Hurts be successful with the tush push on 4th and 1, I'm going to add it to my playbook. And when the time comes, I'm going to try the same play. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time, what we see others do shows us not only what's possible, but it gives us a starting point, or even a complete framework on how to be successful. And I love it. Coaches grab my playbooks so that they can mix and match and customize their own playbook, but they aren't starting from scratch. And life is the same way. We don't have to start from scratch. Everywhere we go, we can simply mix and match and mirror the ones who have been successful. And then, yes, of course, we customize and we build based off of what works. Look, life is a game of copycats. Why would I start from scratch when I can look at the blueprints from a life that I admire? There are two scenarios here. I can either go through life chipping away, trying to build something, laying a framework and then tearing it down, then laying another foundation and tearing it down, or I can simply look at a house that I love. A life that I aspire to, a career, a North Star. And at every checkpoint, I look at what has been built ahead of me. And then I model after it. So we don't have to be afraid or feel bad about being a copycat. It's what successful people have been doing for centuries. We find out what the best are doing, and we replicate. We fine-tune, we adjust, we learn along the way, and then we lay the framework and the foundation for others behind us. Like when you watch a football game and you see some of those incredible plays, some of those incredible drives or strategies, just know that it's usually the mastermind of the coach who's looked at other successful teams and drives and strategies and replicated and copied and adjusted to make it their own. You may not be a football fan like I am, but it's the same in any arena. Life is finite, and we don't have much time to waste. So identify your North Star, and then at every checkpoint, find a playbook or a framework or the house or the life or the path that's already been carved, that's already been built, and copycat, replicate, adjust, and make it your own. Step by step, you'll accelerate not only your growth overall, but you'll accelerate your speed to that star. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. When I was in college, I read this book called Just Enough Light for the Step I'm On. And to this day, it continues to remind me that when things get too big, when things get too dark, or, I don't see the path forward, all I have to do is just turn on my headlights and focus on what's right in front of me. Right? Follow that white dotted line and stay the course. I remember driving regularly about an hour to go see my girlfriend in college, and often it was snowing heavily. And I had a 85 Camaro, and it was a disaster. When I couldn't see anything, right, the snow was just overwhelming, you get that feeling, right? Should I stop? Should I just pull over, do nothing? Maybe just wait for the storm to pass? Or, I can look at my guidelines, my dotted line, right, the yellow line, and just take it easy, but keep moving forward. And that's a choice. And that's what I did. Yeah, okay, there was that one time that I spun out because it was rear-wheel drive and it's Colorado, and who does that? But no matter what, I made it.
every single time I made it to my destination. My dad, colonel in the Air Force, retired chaplain, he used to give me this golden gem. He would ask, how do you eat an elephant? And now my son asks me that every once in a while when I get overwhelmed. He's like, hey, right, how do you eat an elephant, Dad? Look, the answer is so easy to remember, but it's not so simple to apply when you're in the dark. Right? You're looking at this mammoth goal in front of you that one bite at a time, it's hard to apply. But I think that's why this little reminder that you're listening to has showed up in front of you today. You have to remember to look for the light just in front of you. Don't try to see everything. Just focus on the headlights. Right? Sometimes you'll need the brights, right? Sometimes you might just handle that light that you have, but you have to choose to move. And sometimes we forget that we have control of that. And you can use the guidelines to keep you on track. 1 mile marker, 1 bite is all that matters. And when you think about it, it's important to map out the journey so that when you're in the trenches, when you're on that road, when the storm is hitting, the GPS is already set. You're just executing. I'm big on preparing, right? And you can never plan too much, prepare too much, but it gives you that confidence that you're just moving one step at a time. You already have the plan in place. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to get stuck in the squat, as Zig Ziglar used to say, but you're headed in the right direction. And then it's just up to you to keep moving forward, keep going. And you can't let that darkness overwhelm you. So what can we control, right? Napoleon Hill, one of my favorites, Think and Grow Rich, you probably have heard of, says you can either control your mind or it controls you. So make a checklist of what you can control in the storm in front of you. Take a sheet of paper, just write it all down. What can I control in this storm? Then focus on the actions that you can take to make progress and chip away at it. Progress breeds confidence. Confidence will then help you weather the storm. Even Tony Robbins says, look, success is progress. Progress equals success. So just keep moving. And when we think about what we can control, you're the one who has to turn on the headlights. You're in control of how fast you move, how big of a bite you take, how much light you give, what you focus your attention on. So light the way. Focus on controlling what's right inside of you, because that's all you can control, right? What's inside, what you actually do. And soon you'll feel complete.
I'm known as the running guy around my neighborhood. Every morning I get up and I meditate, and then by 6:15 I'm out the door for a morning run before I start interacting and engaging with my family and building and creating for clients. Now I'm outside in the rain, snow, sun, it doesn't matter the condition, but being out there, it allows me to think and to create, to decompress, to step back from the busy side of life and zoom out, to gain a new perspective every morning. Like being on a mountaintop, looking down at my life, I can be a little bit more intentional because of that run. I've done this at any critical change point in my life, from deciding to leave certain organizations, to starting new adventures, to where to raise the kids, and more. Stepping back allows for a more holistic view of the challenges in front of us. I'm free to be present when I feel like I've already been productive in the morning. I'm not so hard on myself when I've already accomplished something at the start of the day. I'm just happier when I'm able to be out there. So as you start your day today, consider how you can zoom out a bit. What's your mountain where you can stand at the top and examine your life? And maybe it's closing the door to your bedroom for 10 minutes to stretch and breathe. Or maybe it's a quiet walk in your neighborhood with no headphones, no phone, just the sound of your footprints and your breathing. Think about what it's going to take to slow down, to clear your mind, to gain perspective, and reprioritize your day. Check in with yourself and what's weighing on you. What's causing tension in your body? What do you have control over that can take that tension away? When you are on your mountain, the possibilities are endless. You can dream big, fantasize about the most life-altering changes, and maybe you'll realize how freeing those changes could actually be. And maybe you'll want to act, or maybe you won't want to change certain things. Maybe you'll just be grateful for the small things you hope to hold on to for as long as you can. Either way, when you come down from your mountain, you'll be grounded. You'll be ready to take on the world. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. It's time to become a skydiver. I hear you, skydiving isn't for all of us. I mean, my wife won't even let me go. She says it's too risky. But that's not the point. The point is that there's something out there. There's something you have on your list, right in front of you, maybe on a vision board of some sort. It's a picture of an incredible experience that you haven't lived yet. But there's a voice inside that's saying, one day, I'm going to do that. One day, I'm going to check that off the list. But as time goes on, that one day gets further and further out. That picture becomes less of a thrill and more of a decoration. And one day starts to slip away. But what if we took that picture off the wall and turned it into an experience? What if we became a skydiver, or whatever it is in that picture? Not for money, not for fame or any other reason, but because we can. And what if that one experience made an impact? I mean, what if it became a story that you shared with someone else, and then that inspired them to become a skydiver in their own world? And what if they began taking pictures off their own walls and in their minds and turning them into their own experiences? What would happen then? Well, that would be pretty incredible. So no, we may not all be skydivers, but we can take this simple lesson and turn it into action. I mean, why not start today? See, we can make a call right now, Google it, YouTube it, whatever it is, we can figure it out. But let's say we make a call right now that can lead us from the picture in our mind to the experience we have waiting for us right out there. See, our life is a collection of these experiences. And it's time to take the picture off the wall and become a skydiver. Then the best part is replacing that picture in front of us with a picture of us living out our best life. Oprah, of course, has the perfect quote here. She says, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." So let's start. Let's start turning our dreams into reality. Let's start living those incredible experiences and then sharing those stories with others to encourage them to do the same. I mean, why not live the life of our dreams, as Oprah says? And why not help others do the same? Remember, we have the power to shape our destiny. So let's go out there and make it happen. I want to address a common belief that holds many salespeople back. The notion of being stuck in certain patterns. Always saying, I could never do that. Or, I never finish what I start. Or anything along those lines. Let's break free from that limited thinking and embrace a new perspective. You see, identifying yourself as someone who's always this way or that way is a dangerous mindset. Your brain starts to echo those beliefs, and soon enough, you start acting accordingly. But here's the thing. You have the power to change your mentality. It starts with
simple projects, let's say, little tasks that you can absolutely accomplish. Imagine this. You're walking around your house and you're tackling some of that housework, some of those things, finally putting up that picture that's been collecting dust, or even completing a small passion project. These may seem insignificant, but they lay a foundation for building a new mindset. So, create a list. Let's call it a victory list. Go around your house and complete those tasks one by one. Jack Canfield, one of my favorite professional development experts, talks about walking around your house and completing the tasks that you've been putting off. So pick a project that excites you, something you know you can finish without a doubt, even if it only takes an hour. Write out your to-do list this morning and make it your mission to complete at least one task, just one thing. This may seem simple, but it's all about giving your mind a mental victory. And by achieving these small victories, your mindset begins to shift. You start saying to yourself, wow, I did it again. I followed through. And that's when the magic happens. Build on these small wins before taking on bigger projects. Train your mind to celebrate every accomplishment, no matter how small. I want you to recognize that you are in control of your own success. You have to take that control and embrace it fully. So set aside a few minutes this weekend or during the week to do a few things that give yourself, your mind, your body a victory. It could be something as simple as organizing your workspace, your desk, or reaching out to a prospect that you've been hesitant to contact. Remember, the key is consistency. Keep giving yourself these mental victories, and soon enough, you'll realize that you are always following through. And it's a gradual process, but with every small step, you're reinforcing the belief that you are a finisher, a doer. I want to leave you with a quote from my favorite basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, who says, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So embrace failure as part of the journey. It's through those failures that you learn, that you grow, and ultimately you succeed. So keep pushing forward. Celebrate every victory along the way and watch your sales career soar to new heights. And remember, you have the power to rewrite your story.
My daughter asked me to bring her nail glue in the middle of the day. And right away I thought, what are you thinking? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Not gonna happen. No freaking way. But then I remembered that morning how she repeatedly said how stressed out she was that her nail had just fallen off. Now, to me, that wasn't even close to important, right? I could think of 1,000 other things that were more important. But I thought about her world for a second, and how in her world, nail glue was the most important solution she could find to move forward in her day. She couldn't focus on math. She couldn't focus on her drama class. Look, with just a glimpse of that nail, her whole world spiraled. It was that straw that broke the camel's back. Now, this is going to sound insane and an already ridiculous story, but in an instant, I thought of myself as King Arthur. And what could he do if he had a daughter who had been captured and in a cell with no way out? Well, he would rescue her, of course. Right? No matter how important the other tasks in front of him were, he would drop everything, he would get on his white horse, take Excalibur, and save his daughter. So what do you think I did? Oh yeah, I raced home, I ran upstairs, I grabbed that tiny little bottle of nail glue with the red cap, and I galloped all the way to her school. I ran in that front office and screamed, "Nail glue!" Now, I don't know why I screamed, but they all looked at me like I was crazy. But that was my Excalibur, right? I stood there, proud. And as I signed the forms and laid the nail glue before them, one lady said, "Well, you're a better parent than I am." And normally I would have said, "No, of course not. That's not true." But today, I don't know, I just smiled and thought, maybe today I am. Aesop of Aesop's Fables, he says, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." Now, sometimes we think that we are so small that despite our best effort to change the world, our actions are irrelevant. We're just one small speck in this endless span of the universe, and that's true. Look, we are a speck among other specks, though. And our actions may not change the lives of people across the world, but they affect our families, our friends, and our neighbors. Right? We have the power to change someone's life for the better. And we get these opportunities to be the hero every day. It may not be as obvious as slaying dragons or rescuing damsels in distress, but they are still important. These simple acts of kindness can be life-changing. Look, I'm definitely not perfect, because there's many times I go the opposite way, but I'm working on making better choices and invoking my inner King Arthur. And while this story is about nail glue, and it seems insignificant and shallow as I share this, to her, to that awesome girl I get to hang out with every day, it was the world. So to me, it mattered, and it became something worth fighting for. Even Gandalf says, "It is the small everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay." Small acts of kindness and love. So when you're making your sales calls, meeting with prospects, putting together proposals, remember how important your work is to them. That you are changing a life out there with your small acts. And sometimes it may not seem like it, as you may call after call and face an endless dose of rejection, but keep going. Because for those you do reach, you're making a major impact. Look, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. It's only been 2 days. You're coming from a military family, it's hard to focus on the right now because you know that change is coming any second. Right? You just want to move on. You want that next deployment, that next house, that next life to come immediately so that you can rebuild or rediscover yourself, so that you can live that life that you see in your mind, but you want it now. It's only been 2 days since I started a new strategy, but yet my mind is asking, well, where are the results? It's been 2 days. See, when nothing happens in those 2 days, your mind starts to think, well, maybe this isn't the right strategy. Maybe this isn't the right move. Let's change. And this becomes a cycle of constantly changing, constantly adjusting, constantly switching, right? Nothing is good enough. The now, it doesn't even exist. Look, we have to take ownership of this cycle and calm the seas of change, not only for ourselves, but for those around us. Right? If we're in the middle of the ocean, we can't constantly change course because we don't see the land. Right? We can't turn this way or that way when the storm hits. We have to remain steady, calm, and secure in the decisions that we made that led us to this point. Leadership expert Todd Stalker has a good quote here. He says, look, the ability to stay calm and focused in the midst of change is what distinguishes great leaders from those who are just collecting a paycheck. And look, I believe that we all have the power to be great leaders, no matter our title or position. So stay the course. Right? Let those 2 days turn into 3, into 4, into 10, into 20. Keep going on that same strategy, that same path. Live in each moment. Put your feet on the ground, unpack the boxes, and allow yourself to enjoy what's right in front of you. You have to keep going. Keep moving forward. Stop overanalyzing. Stop overthinking. Just build. Right? Knowing that when you put in that energy, good things will come. Maybe not right now, not in a month, maybe not even in a year, but it will happen. Yesterday, you made decisions about what today was going to look like. So today, value what you put together yesterday. Trust what you planned. Follow that path. Follow that strategy, and you will create everything that you dreamed up and more. So trust yourself. Be present, be patient, and keep building. Everything you're working toward is just around the corner. And remember, look, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. It's undeniable that belief and action are two key ingredients for success. Yet, we often underestimate the impact of that tiny word, can. But it holds tremendous power when it comes to unlocking our performance and our potential. I remember listening to Tony Robbins years ago, and he said, quite simply, look, when you must, your mind and your body says, okay, I can and I will. So when you must, you can. I think about someone on a performance improvement plan, right? They're given 2 weeks to turn it around, and all of a sudden the light goes on, the activity changes, and they turn it around. When you must, you can. Research in psychology confirms the influence of belief on our performance. I was reading a study by Dr. Aaliyah J. Crum and her team at Stanford, and they revealed that belief can activate the body's self-healing mechanisms, leading to improved physical health. So when participants believed that they were receiving an effective treatment, they experienced significant symptom relief, even though they were given a placebo. This simple study just demonstrates the profound impact of belief on our well-being. As our mindset can be the catalyst for extraordinary results. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." See, these words encapsulate the truth that our beliefs shape our actions and our outcomes. I mean, imagine those times in our life when we are wholeheartedly embracing that growth mindset, right? We are all in. We view challenges as opportunities for growth. We take proactive steps to enhance our skills. Our unwavering belief in our potential fuels our motivation, our resilience, and the ability to surpass any target that's in front of us. We're like a superhero, right? We're unstoppable. And in those moments, we become the driving force behind our success. Then, when we take that belief and add action to it, it's like a secret recipe or gas on a flame, right? That simple combination is where the magic happens. And that's why the two go together so well, belief and action. There was another study coming out of Dominican University of California, and Dr. Gail Matthews found that individuals who wrote down their goals and action steps were significantly more likely to achieve them compared to those who just thought about their goals. She concluded that writing activates the subconscious mind, solidifying commitment and focus. So belief, followed by action, works. Then you add in the right motivation, and all of a sudden, when you must, you can. So let's put these simple insights into action right now. wherever you are, if you can, pause this for just a second, grab a pen, paper, open your notes up, even do a voice memo, whatever works for you, but I want you to write down, articulate your goals. And it doesn't have to be too structured, don't overthink it, but write down both short and long-term goals. It can be professional, can be personal, but then outline the specific action steps necessary to achieve them. Break it down into manageable tasks. If you already have this, just get it out so that you can have it in front of you and review it. But as you write, as you articulate this, immerse yourself in the belief that you can accomplish these objectives. Envision the excitement of getting closer and closer to knocking out one goal at a time. Feel the satisfaction of surpassing your targets and the positive impact you can make on the lives of others. And let that belief guide your actions. Remember, belief simply sets the stage for success, but it is the integration of belief with deliberate action that propels us forward. So, commit to your plan. Take consistent steps and persist in the face of challenges. Gandhi has this amazing quote that I love. It's one of those that you can hang up on the wall or tweet out. He says, "Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." You were made for something incredible, and you have what it takes to make it happen. So keep believing, keep striving, keep going, and you'll never stop achieving your goals. Be intentional and take deliberate action. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. Now go out there and make it happen. I want to encourage you to become a shopping list person. When you go to the grocery store, there are two scenarios. Either you have a shopping list or you don't. And what happens? If you have the shopping list, you've been adding things, maybe with Alexa, add this, add that. So you walk in and now you have a shopping list. You go to the aisle, maybe you look for a quick sign, or perhaps you ask someone, but you know where you're headed. After you grab each item, you check it off, and item by item, you get this rush. And then, at the end, when you check out, you feel complete. You have everything you need. Then the opposite scenario. When you walk into the grocery store without a shopping list, what happens? You wander. Especially if you're hungry, you're in trouble. Start grabbing things you likely don't need and might spend extra time just wandering up and down the aisles looking for items that might come to mind. You don't really ask anybody anything because you're not really sure what you're looking for. So you're grabbing things, putting them in the cart. And when you check out, well, now you have a bunch of things that you don't need. You walk out and immediately it's like, I have the cookies, but I forgot the milk. And so in life, we have the same opportunity. You know, the grocery store is obviously an analogy for our life. It represents that. And there are things out there. There are aisles and aisles of possibilities, guides along the way, people to help us find what we're looking for. But if we haven't created a shopping list of what we want, of what we're after, then we're just wandering. And after every event, we say, if I only would have, I forgot this. And we want to go back, but it's just easier to move forward. So we go through life and these wandering moments constantly stack up, and they become who we are and what we have and where we are in life. So I invite you to become a shopping list person. Shift your perspective, shift a little bit of your activity so that you're intentional when you walk into that grocery store, whether in your personal life, professional life, your sales career, your goals. Start adding things to your shopping list. And when you arrive at the grocery store and you pop it open, you go for exactly what you want.
And maybe you get some guidance along the way, but when you check out, you feel complete. I want to address a common belief that holds many salespeople back. The notion of being stuck in certain patterns. Always saying, I could never do that. Or, I never finish what I start. Or anything along those lines. Let's break free from that limited thinking and embrace a new perspective. You see, identifying yourself as someone who's always this way or that way is a dangerous mindset. Your brain starts to echo those beliefs, and soon enough, you start acting accordingly. But here's the thing. You have the power to change your mentality. It starts with simple projects, let's say, little tasks that you can absolutely accomplish. Imagine this. You're walking around your house and you're tackling some of that housework, some of those things, finally putting up that picture that's been collecting dust, or even completing a small passion project. These may seem insignificant, but they lay a foundation for building a new mindset. So, create a list. Let's call it a victory list. Go around your house and complete those tasks one by one. Jack Canfield, one of my favorite professional development experts, talks about walking around your house and completing the tasks that you've been putting off. So pick a project that excites you, something you know you can finish without a doubt, even if it only takes an hour. Write out your to-do list this morning and make it your mission to complete at least one task, just one thing. This may seem simple, but it's all about giving your mind a mental victory. And by achieving these small victories, your mindset begins to shift. You start saying to yourself, wow, I did it again. I followed through. And that's when the magic happens. Build on these small wins before taking on bigger projects. Train your mind to celebrate every accomplishment, no matter how small. I want you to recognize that you are in control of your own success. You have to take that control and embrace it fully. So set aside a few minutes this weekend or during the week to do a few things that give yourself, your mind, your body a victory. It could be something as simple as organizing your workspace, your desk, or reaching out to a prospect that you've been hesitant to contact. Remember, the key is consistency. Keep giving yourself these mental victories, and soon enough, you'll realize that you are always following through. And it's a gradual process, but with every small step, you're reinforcing the belief that you are a finisher, a doer. I want to leave you with a quote from my favorite basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, who says, I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So embrace failure as part of the journey. It's through those failures that you learn, that you grow, and ultimately you succeed. So keep pushing forward. Celebrate every victory along the way and watch your sales career soar to new heights. And remember, you have the power to rewrite your story. In a world filled with challenges, where the road seems long and the climb appears so steep, there lies a hidden strength within you. Don't underestimate the power of transformation. Imagine a butterfly, delicate yet resilient, emerging from its cocoon. Its wings vibrant, soaring higher than ever before. But what about the time in between? The before, the after. That's where the magic happens. Just like a butterfly, you are in the midst of your own transformation. So don't let the doubts, the judgments, that awkward phase, hold you back. Embrace the process. Embrace the journey. Sure, some may question your choices. They may doubt your abilities. But remember this: you cannot be clipped prematurely. You cannot be confined to the easy road. Your transformation requires time, dedication, and unwavering belief. So don't give up. Don't quit when things get tough. Push through the barriers and keep going. Put in the work, the effort, the time, the energy, right? Stay committed to your goals and follow the process step by step like a recipe for success. As Maya Angelou, the great poet, once said, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Embrace the changes. Embrace the transformation that unfolds within you. Yes, there may be setbacks. There may be moments when you stumble and you fall, but that's not the end of the story. Rise up, dust yourself off, keep moving forward. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Together we will soar. And when you spread your wings, reaching new heights, the world will witness your transformation. They will marvel at your strength, your resilience, and your determination. Don't retreat back to the familiar. Don't allow yourself to be confined to the cocoon. You are destined for greatness. Believe it with every fiber of your being. So listen to these words, embrace them, let them fuel your spirit, ignite your fire, stay focused, stay committed, and soon you will emerge as the butterfly, ready to conquer the skies. Keep going, keep pushing, keep transforming. You are unstoppable. And together, we will all fly higher than ever before.
Leadership isn't restricted to title or position. It's about tapping into your inner greatness and serving others at the highest level. Whether you're a sales rep, a marketing manager, a school teacher, stay-at-home parent, an entrepreneur, coach, clerk, it doesn't really matter what your title is. It's inside of you. It's who you are. And honestly, it's a decision. I have a concept called servant ownership. Much like stewardship or an enterprise mindset, it's about moving beyond yourself. It's about elevating your thinking to a global level and seeing the world strategically and how you can serve at the greatest level. It combines your ability to serve others with your whole heart while taking complete ownership of what's right in front of you. Much like Simon Sinek's idea of leaders eat last, it's that shift to putting others first and taking on the greater good as your duty. Servant ownership and being a great leader is not about becoming who I want you to be or who they want you to be. It's about becoming the leader you were meant to be through the willingness to accept the journey ahead. When I do my leadership training, whether for positional leaders or for sales teams, the idea of combining service with ownership usually resonates the most. And it's in that intersection that most breakthroughs occur, and you realize how simple great leadership can be. So decide. Step into your destiny because you already have the ability to be a great leader inside. Make a list of 3 things that you can do to serve or help others today. Then take full ownership of completing those items. Now, at first, it'll feel forced, but over time, it will become part of your DNA. And we see these everyday heroes everywhere, right? The waiter who goes out of their way to create an incredible experience for you while lifting up his coworkers in the process. The customer service agent who says, I'm going to own this process and we're going to find a solution together. The teacher who takes that standard curriculum and builds in new and exciting experiences that explode their students' creativity and imagination. Or the sales rep who schedules additional follow-up meetings with his prospect to help ensure they fully understand next steps and the full value of the offering. Look, these are simple examples of servant ownership on display all around us. And now it's your turn. How are you combining your ability to serve others with the commitment to own the entire solution or project or experience? Create that list and get to work. Look, others are waiting for the greatness that only you can provide. They need your service and ownership. So show them what great leadership and what servant ownership looks like. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen.
Living above the line is a choice. A choice to push beyond our limits, to embrace discomfort, and to constantly seek improvement. It's about setting high standards for ourselves and refusing to settle for mediocrity. You see, when we live above the line, we take ownership of our actions, of our mindset, and our results. So if you think about the most successful salespeople and leaders that you admire, what sets them apart? It's likely their unwavering commitment to excellence, or maybe their relentless pursuit of growth, or even their refusal to accept anything less than their best, right? They understand that success is not an accident, but it's a deliberate choice, and they chase that every single day. So it's time to make a choice. It's time to level up our skills, our mindset, and our approach to sales. We have to start investing in ourselves to seek out the knowledge and the resources that will expand our horizons and sharpen our abilities. Whether that's attending seminars or reading books, listening to podcasts, getting with other salespeople, our manager, cross-functionally. Either way, it's a continuous immersion of learning throughout this journey. But knowledge alone is not enough. We know that. Living above the line requires action. And it demands that we step outside of our comfort zone and embrace the unknown, which can be terrifying. But it's in those moments of discomfort and uncertainty that we truly grow. So take risks. Make bold moves, and don't be afraid to fail, because failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone on the pathway to success. And remember, look, attitude is everything. Our mindset shapes our reality. So we have to choose optimism. Even in the worst times, we have to choose resilience and a never give up spirit. That's who we are. And when challenges arise, we view them as opportunities for growth and learning. We have to believe in our ability to overcome any obstacle that stands in our way. Living above the line also means embracing accountability. We have to take ownership of our results and strive for excellence in every aspect of our work. We have to be proactive, take initiative, and always go the extra mile, not only for our clients, but for our team, for our leadership. We have to become more. And our commitment to delivering value, that's what will set us apart from our competition. Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite sales experts and motivational speakers, said, "You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win." Look, it doesn't just happen. So living above the line requires intentionality and a mindset focused on success. So as you go forth in your sales journey, make the choice to live above the line. Believe in your potential, take action, and embrace the challenges that come your way. And remember, you have the power within you to reach new heights, exceed expectations, and achieve greatness. So keep striving, keep growing, and never stop living above the line. If I were looking for gold and I had a treasure map, and let's say there's a wide open field in front of me, I'd start searching. And once I found that X marks the spot, I'd start to dig, right? And I'd dig, and at some point I'd have a choice. Do I continue to dig or do I quit? Saying, nope, I've had enough. There is no gold here. Walk away. We've all seen the image of the person searching for gold and they hit that critical point where they have to choose and they say no. They quit and they walk away. But if they just would have dug 2 to 3 more times, boom, they would have found that gold. But look, the same is true for us in sales, in our relationships, in leadership. In our conversations, we have a map. Right? We're listening for that X marks the spot. And maybe the X is the hot button. Maybe it's a need. Maybe it's a pain, right? A goal. And once we find it, we start to dig. Right? We're searching for that gold. Maybe it's the motivation. Maybe it's their why. Whether we're trying to close a sale, we're trying to build a relationship, we're trying to lead them from where they are to where they want to go, right? Look, listening is one of the most important skills that we can master. And often we get it wrong. Many times we listen to impress. This is just staying at the surface, digging a little here, digging a little bit there, and our field is filled with these little potholes. Or maybe we're listening to learn, right? We're digging and digging and digging and digging, but we're digging for us. And when it comes time to quit, hey, we've had enough, we're good, we move on. It's about us, not them. But that gold, that treasure, can only be found when we listen to understand. And what does that look like? And what does that feel like, more importantly? Well, it's simply parking in that one spot, in that one moment, and we dig. We are committed. Maybe we're asking 2 to 3 more questions out of curiosity, out of genuine care. When we think that we have found enough, we continue to dig, and that is when the magic happens. That's where we find the gold that we're looking for. That's where we build that relationship. We earn the right to share our value that we have in our pocket. Maybe that's when we find the ability, exactly what we need to take them from where they are to where they want to go. It becomes about them and how we can serve and how we can make their life better. And isn't that the most important treasure we can find? So keep digging. You have no idea how close you are. And when you're ready to stop, just dig 2 or 3 more times. And look, you'll find the gold you're looking for. I want to talk about a common phenomenon that we all experience on the road, in our careers, and in life. Now, I'm sure you've been there, but you're sitting in traffic and you're watching the lane next to you move a little faster. So what do? Just like all of us, it's like Office Space. We switch lanes, hoping to save some time and get ahead, but guess what happens next? Yeah,
The lane that we were in starts speeding up, leaving us frustrated and stuck, right? I mean, we can feel it. I can feel it. Life often throws obstacles in our path. And just like that slow-moving lane, when we encounter challenges, we tend to look for an easier route, jumping from one option to another, seeking instant gratification. And we become what I like to call jumpers. Now, we think we're making progress, but in reality, we're only creating a cycle of frustration and stagnation. I mean, think about it. How many times have you abandoned a goal, a project, as soon as it became difficult? How many times have you been tempted to take the easy road only to find yourself back at square one because it was hard? Well, it's time to break free from this pattern and embrace a different mindset, a mindset that leads to true progress, to success. Famous basketball coach John Wooden, he has this quote that's super relevant here. He says, "Stay the course when thwarted." Basically, when things get hard, right? Try again, harder, smarter, persevere relentlessly. Albert Einstein said, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." Look, traffic may seem small and insignificant, but by constantly hopping, jumping from lane to lane, we condition our minds to accept that this jumping from one thing to another is okay. We lose focus, we lose direction, and ultimately we lose sight of our true potential. So here's the challenge. Start staying put. Embrace the frustration, the discomfort that comes with it, and condition your mind to say, it's okay, I'll get there. And remember, seeing someone else seamlessly get ahead faster doesn't tell the whole story. Success is not just about the speed of progress, but the quality of it. We don't know the story. So let's take the lesson, this simple lesson from traffic, and apply it to our careers, to our life. Commit to that one lane, that lane that aligns with your goals, your passions, and your dreams, and stop hopping around aimlessly. I used to tell this story in new hire training about a field, and at the end of our lives, we're going to have this field that represents our life. And it will either look like a prairie dog field with tons of little holes where we dug a little, then jumped, dug a little bit more, then jumped, then dug a little bit more, or it will have a very deep well filled with water that can serve others for generations to come. So what will your field look like? I invite you to stay put, to dig in. It's time to let go of being a jumper. It's when we stay the course, as Coach Wooden says, confront the frustration head on and push through, that we build resilience, expertise, and ultimately extraordinary results. So let's start by embracing this simple exercise. The next time we find ourselves in traffic, stay in that one lane. Resist the urge to jump and observe how it feels. Use this as a reminder that success requires focus. It requires patience and the willingness to face challenges head on. And by doing so, we'll not only accelerate our success, but also cultivate a mindset of unwavering determination. As Winston Churchill put it, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So keep going with resilience, patience, and focus. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. Imagine driving down a scenic road filled with twists and turns, hills and valleys. But ahead you notice a traffic jam. Now, this could potentially be a symbol of the obstacles and hurdles that life often presents us with. But today, you're not ready to settle for the ordinary. So you make a conscious choice. You veer off to the right, exploring an alternate path. No big deal. You've done it before. You're not afraid to go against the flow, to take a road less traveled. It's like embracing the unknown, stepping out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself to grow. Now, as you go along this uncharted territory, a sense of freedom comes over you, right? You realize, man, they were right when they said that life is not about the destination, but about the journey itself. But this story is about something else. You see, we have to be careful because throughout this journey, we have choices. When the road ahead is filled with obstacles or roadblocks, traffic, maybe an uphill climb, it's easy for us to look for that off-ramp, that shortcut. And there's a temptation to constantly seek shortcuts in other areas of our life as well, to take the easy way out. But here's the truth. Shortcuts may provide temporary relief, but they seldom lead to true fulfillment. The key lies in embracing the challenges ahead and staying committed to our chosen path. While we see others chasing shortcuts, we stay put. Lily Tomlin, a famous actress, says, "The road to success is always under construction." And I love this because it seems like I'm always seeing construction everywhere I go. I remember a 2 to 3 year construction project from Colorado Springs to Castle Rock. We used to live in Castle Rock, now we're in the Springs, and they were widening the lanes and creating a toll road. But look, for that 2 to 3 year stretch, it seemed like they were never going to be done. So we just sat there. And I can't tell you how many times I tried to take a shortcut only to find that everyone else was doing the same thing, and it just took me twice as long. It was frustrating. But life's journey is a series of twists and turns, just like the road we're navigating. And it's natural to encounter setbacks and moments of doubt and frustration with the road ahead, but those who achieve greatness are the ones who keep going. They move forward, straight ahead, who focus their energy and drive forward, no matter what. In football, we talk about moving north and south instead of east and west. Dancing side to side, trying to find the open lane, but just making progress by moving straight ahead. And sometimes that means we have to get really clear on why we're on that road to begin with. Steve Jobs famously said, "The only way to do great work is to love what we do." But when we're passionate about our journey, about the path that we've chosen, we find the strength to persevere. We find the strength to overcome any obstacles that come our way. We don't need a shortcut. We don't need an off-ramp. So let's shift our mentality. Embrace the power of focus. Instead of constantly seeking shortcuts, commit to the path we're on and relish every moment along the way. Remember, it's not about reaching the destination first. It's about growth, the lessons and the experiences that we encounter. Jim Rohn, one of my favorite motivational speakers, talks about who we become along the way. That is what really matters. So keep moving straight ahead and become more through this journey. And always remember, the only limits in life are the ones that we make. So we can't let fear and uncertainty hold us back. We have to embrace the challenges, push through the discomfort, and unlock our full potential. I love to take the road less traveled, but if I'm doing it to find the easier way, to find the shortcut, I'm doing it for the wrong reason, and that will never pay off. I say we have to be careful because that will easily slip into other areas of our life, and we find ourselves always looking for the easy way. When someone says, make money fast, we click that button. When they say, find my no money down opportunity, we chase that opportunity. And if we're not careful, we lose track of the path we were on, the path that leads to true fulfillment, to real happiness, and the life we were meant to live in the first place. So don't be distracted by the shortcuts and the off-ramps. Pursue what's right in front of you and push through to become who you were meant to be. Stay inspired, stay focused, and continue to strive for greatness. You have the power to shape your destiny, so go out there and make it happen. We all have something that we're known for, that we're fairly good at. And for me, coaching is what I do. But years ago, when my wife signed me up to coach my 5-year-old son's flag football team, that was a completely different story. So what do you do when you're thrown into unexpected waters? I mean, now you're in open water and the ocean and the waves are coming. Do you still remember how to swim? And even though you do, it's still a choice in those moments. Yeah, you can stop paddling, stop fighting, just let go and drown, right? Some voice in the back of your head is whispering to you, hey, that would be the much easier option. You can doggy paddle or float using just enough effort to stay above the surface, or you can remind your body and your mind that you know exactly what to do. And you lean in and you go. Well, that was the decision I made 8 years ago. And that first season, hey, it was a disaster. But then shortly after, I started to find my sea legs. I started to find my breaststroke. I started to figure some things out. And I remembered that I had the skills to make this happen. And today, not only am I still coaching, but now I coach other coaches on how to step onto that field with competence, how to brave those treacherous waters with confidence, not just floating through it. And I empower those coaches to dive in so that they can impact not only those kids, and yes, their parents, but their entire community. Sometimes we forget how capable we really are. Just because you're thrown into a deeper pool of water doesn't mean you don't know how to swim, and swim well. So make the decision and make the choice to lean in, to make the most of it, not only in that situation, but for the entire role that you're in, because you're exactly where you're meant to be. So start kicking, start breathing, and you'll be swimming like you've never swam before. We've all heard the quote, "Believe you can and you're halfway there," from Theodore Roosevelt. Napoleon Hill says, "You can do it if you believe you can." Believe in yourself. Trust yourself, because you are more capable than you can imagine. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. What is it like when what you've strived for suddenly becomes a reality? Sometimes we miss it, but there are those moments when we look around and we catch it. On my morning run last week, I looked down to restart my podcast that I was listening to, and I happened to check our subscribers for this channel. And we went from 327 to 429 in an instant. Now, I thought I was dreaming. I had no idea. Days before, I was checking it almost every minute and nothing. I mean, maybe one or two would trickle in, and then suddenly 100, and at once. And less than a week later, we were over 2,000, and we haven't stopped growing. But what do we do when we suddenly realize that we're living the dream that we've been striving for so long? We spend so much time setting goals, building plans, creating metrics to measure success. We analyze and evaluate how to be better, do better, work towards something bigger. Often meeting our goal only serves as a reset to set a new one. I got 1,000 subscribers, now I want 5,000. I hit my sales quota this quarter, next quarter I need to surpass it by this much or that much. But what if, before we said what's next, instead we paused? We took a breath. We checked in with what it took to get there and acknowledged how far we've come. We took a moment to be proud of ourselves. We took a moment to celebrate the win, big or small. Yeah, we'll set the next goal. We'll make more plans. We'll continue to push and grow because that's who we are. But for now, let's stand still, just long enough to look around and realize that we're right in the middle of it. Long enough to allow ourselves to laugh out loud, to grab the people closest to us and say, hey, we're here. We have arrived. We're living it. It's in these moments that we want to tell the people that we care about how much we appreciate them, how much we value their support along the way and celebrate alongside them. So take the moment, because it's these moments that will drive us forward to the next moment and the next moment and the next one after that. So I'm going to take today to celebrate, because I know the work and the effort it took to get here. And while I don't know what will happen the next time I look, or what the next month or few days will look like, it's just a quick sign that I'm on the right track. And I just have to keep going. I have to keep building. So thank you for your support along my journey. I'll keep going, keep striving, keep building. You're on the right track. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. Sometimes we forget that we have control over what we do with every minute of our day. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Jim Rome when he says TV will cost you a fortune. My wife and I, we love to watch Netflix, Max, Hulu. We've got them all. We're even digging into Family Matters again with the kids. At the end of the day, after we have built, after we have created, after we have done what we do, at that point, we play hard. And we play really hard. But here's the thing. As Eric Thomas says, we have earned the right to play because of what we did on the other side of that day. We are exhausted from running up and down the field, putting in what I call max effort. So that when it comes time to chill, we chill hard. And that's what it's all about. What are you doing right now to earn the right to watch Queen of the South? Because if you're making 5 phone calls, if you're doing maybe just one-on-one today, well, that's not cutting it. And honestly, it's not fair. Not only is it not fair to your family, to your friends, to your potential customers, to your team members, it's not fair to you. Because in a week, you're going to say, man, if only, or, oh man, I wish. Or after you've binged 5 hours of Breaking Bad again and put everything else off, you're going to say to yourself, man, why? Hey, what was I thinking? Come on, man. My dad's a retired chaplain and colonel in the Air Force, and leadership was his thing. And he was always saying, do something right now. Do something today, like right this second, that your future self, your tomorrow self will say, you know what? Nice. Thank you for that. Don't act like you've earned the right to chill yet, because maybe you haven't. And if you have, you know it's all about momentum. Right now, as you're hearing this, you're going to feel some surge of excitement and energy. And you're going to want to start building and creating and hustling and doing what you know you're supposed to do. But then, in about 2 days, you're going to get tired. And you're going to start making excuses of why you earned the right to chill.
but that is a daily ticket. It expires at midnight. So you have to pay admission to earn the right to chill tomorrow and the next day and the next. My wife and I love to go to Red Rocks in Colorado, one of my favorite places, our favorite places. And I can't sneak in. I mean, can you sneak into Red Rocks? Think about your favorite band. Who's your favorite? Can you sneak into Red Rocks to see them play? Now, you can go to Red Rocks without a ticket, and you can sit like a mile away in your car, crank the windows down, but that's not the full experience. See, some of you are in the car miles away, and you're telling yourself, I'm living the full experience. No, you're not. You should be in the front row, but you haven't paid the price of admission. So what are you going to do? And it has to be continuous. And if there's momentum, like right this second, you're hearing this, there's a little momentum here. You need to ride that wave. Put the outline together. If there's an objection you keep on hearing, go after it now. Tackle it tonight. If there are 3 one-on-ones that you've been pushing off, bring them front and center and do them tomorrow. There are things that you can do to start catching that momentum, and then you won't have to run uphill every day. It'll be a lot easier. Don't just park a mile away and be okay with that experience. Pay for admission, experience life from the front row, right where you belong.
We all have something we're trying to improve on, whether it's to sharpen our minds, strengthen our bodies, boost our career, or anything in between. And it's difficult to change our routine, so don't. Bake it into what you're already doing. I baked 180 push-ups into my morning routine, and I say that not as a humble brag, but as a simple example of how this can work. So stay with me. Now, when I think about doing 180 push-ups, there are many ways to cut it up, right? There's 10 sets of 18, 3 sets of 50, and then an extra 30, and so on. But for me, during my morning run, I have 4 rest points. So all I had to do was cut it into 4 sets of 45. Just add 45 push-ups at every rest point, and I'll be set. And honestly, it started at 10 at each rest point, and then it was 12, and then 15, and 20, and so on. And when I first decided I wanted to do more push-ups, I was setting aside an extra 10 to 15 minutes at the end of my run. And because I was adding it to the end of my routine, I slowly started seeing it as a waste of time. So that 15 minutes went down to 10, and then 5, and look, it was gone completely within a week. Now, as soon as I started to include it into my already established routine, it felt much simpler. I already carved out the time for my run, so now I just baked this into it. I didn't have to muster up new energy or space. It was already built into my morning. Now, in sales, we sometimes try to change what we're doing, or we try to sell someone on changing what they're doing, when really, all we have to do is just complement what's already there, to find a way to bake it into what we or they are already doing. Well, change is hard. Despite all the ways we know our life might improve, it can feel overwhelming to start and even more daunting to maintain. But if it simply fits into our current repeatable process somehow, it makes the possibility of not only action, but consistency attainable. You don't have to change your entire life to actually change your life. You want something in life, bake it into what you're already doing. Then increase the effort. And that's when the real results will come. Change is hard. But when we do it right, we can do anything. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. We've all heard that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Spring is coming, or the sun will rise again. But right now we're being held back by something so hard that we can barely see a path forward. But it's time to stop allowing it to define and defeat us. You see, we have the power inside to overcome it. But sometimes we forget. We are in the dead of night and don't think we'll ever get out. But as challenging as it may seem, as hopeless as it may feel, as dark as it may be, the sun is coming. There is light on the other side of that mountain. We just have to go find it. And my son and I, we love to wrestle, and sometimes I'll pin him down, and I've got him. I can see in his face that he is struggling. He's done, held back. But then, all of a sudden, I see a shift, and his eyes catch a little bit of light. And it's like a spark, it's like a dose of morphine or dopamine, and all of a sudden, he believes. And that's when everything changes. He'll take my arms out, he'll squirm around, he starts to go after more and more of that light. And within seconds, he's turned everything around and he's on top. Now, honestly, I don't know how he does it, but I believe it has to do with that glimmer of hope, with that little light that changed his belief that he could win. Now, we've all heard Vince Lombardi's famous quote that winners never quit and quitters never win, but when you see it in action, it's pretty inspiring. So we have that inside. We have the opportunity when we're held down by something, beneath something, in the darkest night. We have that hope inside. So don't give up. Open your eyes to the light that's coming. Allow the spark to ignite that shift that you've been waiting for and turn it all around. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Spring is coming, and yes, the sun will rise again. So it's time to rise up and stand in the light and be who you're meant to be. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. Life is not as complicated as it may seem. In fact, it all comes down to one thing: choices. Each day presents us with countless opportunities to make choices. Some may be small, like deciding what to have for breakfast or which route to take to work, and others may be more significant, like choosing to pick up the phone and make that extra sales call or deciding to invest in your personal growth. But it's in these moments of choice that something extraordinary happens. It's that snap, that realization that you hold the power to shape your own destiny. You hear me talk about it all the time, but you can choose to take action, to push beyond your comfort zone, or you can choose to let fear and doubt hold you back. Now, choices do have consequences. If you choose to hit that snooze button instead of jumping out of bed, you'll have less time to prepare for the day. Now, if you choose to prioritize distractions over focused work, you'll find yourself falling behind. The weight of, I should have, will surely show up. But here's the beauty of it. You can make a different choice the next time. Not only tomorrow, but today. Imagine a world where every decision you make aligns with your goals and aspirations. It's not just about wishing for success, it's about making the choice to pursue it relentlessly. As American author William Arthur Ward once said, "Success is not a destination," and we know this one, but it's a journey.
And here's the part I really like. The doing is often more important than the outcome. So how do we make those choices that lead us down the path of success? I think it starts with self-discipline. Self-discipline is the fuel that powers our ability to make consistent, intentional choices. That word intentional is so critical. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. It's not about being perfect or achieving instant success. No, it's about having the self-initiative and self-control to consistently take action, even in the face of setbacks. It's about embracing the process of growth and learning from every choice we make. So as you embark on your journey today, remember this. Life is a compilation of choices. Every decision you make, no matter how small, has the power to shape your future. Embrace the power of choice. Cultivate your self-discipline and watch your sales success take off. I often use the spaceship emoji in this arena because we are all just a few choices away from launching, from taking off, from living out our full potential. So why not go out there and make those choices that will set us apart from the rest? Why not choose to reach out to our prospects with intentionality, knowing full well rejection is coming? Why not choose to invest in our personal development, continuously honing our skills and expanding our knowledge? Why not choose to maintain a positive mindset even when faced with challenging circumstances? Why not? It's not about the quantity of choices you make, but the quality of those choices. So prioritize what truly matters. Align your actions with your goals and watch your pipeline, your life in general, take off. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. I want to tell you about an encounter I had on my morning run. Now, this one taught me a valuable lesson. I was about halfway, coming up on one of my rest points, when out of the bushes came a cow. Now, this is unusual to say the least. I've never seen or heard a cow in my neighborhood, so I was a bit shocked. But then she started yelling at me, like long, sustained cries. Basically telling me, look, you need to back up or I'm going to charge. I don't even know what that would look like. So, yeah, I slowed down and then backed off slowly. You'll come to find out the whole situation wasn't about me at all. When I looked a little closer, I saw a calf behind the bushes. She was just protecting her kid. Then as I stepped back even further, I realized she had a whole herd of about 20 or 30 cows that were on the loose, and they had broken away from the herd. So she was just trying to find her way back while also protecting her calf from getting hurt or more lost. I had no idea, and my first instinct was to judge her for yelling at me. And many times we judge people's behavior based on what we hear in the moment or what we see right in front of us. We don't necessarily look around for context. I know I don't. We don't look behind the bushes or step back to gain perspective to understand what's really going on. We just judge that cow for its aggressive behavior. But it wasn't aggression. It was protection. It was fear. And after a few moments, I saw her lead her calf back to her family, and they reunited and laid down together. See, I was just in her path. She didn't know how to handle me, so she responded. I mean, for all I know, she could have been asking me for directions, right? Like, how can I get back to my herd? I'm freaking out. I'm lost. Have you seen my family? But what I heard was, well, you better step back or I'm coming for you. And Meryl Streep, who I love,
has an excellent quote here. She says, "The great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy. We can all sense a mysterious connection to each other. And even though this was an encounter with a cow, it was like we were connected in some way. And once I stepped back, I felt for her. Like I wanted the best for her entire family out there." So what can I learn here? I need to take a beat. Instead of rushing to judgment or defensiveness, I need to look. I need to look for the full story. And oftentimes it's not about me, right? Even though most of the time that's all I see, I may be a small detour, a roadblock when someone's trying to find their way home, right? Their world, their worries are so much bigger than that little interaction in that moment. And if I can understand, or at least admit that I don't fully understand what they're going through, then I can acknowledge that, look, they're doing the best that they can in that moment. And if I can give people the benefit of the doubt, and I can approach the situation with compassion, with empathy, right? I may not be able to help all the time. I may not be able to take them home, but at least I can remove myself as another roadblock on their journey. And in doing so, I just hope that I've earned the right to be treated the same way. Look, when I don't show up as my best, when I'm caught up in my fears or, not being completely understood, I just hope that others will show me the same grace and help me back to where I belong, safely, without judgment. Look, this cow was a simple metaphor for how we see people along our journey. And I just hope that I lead with understanding, that I can remove roadblocks and be the compass for others trying to find their way. Look, we all have the power to shape our destiny. So let's go out there and make it happen.
I was in a band once, and we had a great time performing and writing songs together. But the good times on stage and with friends is not what I remember most about that time. What I remember most is a very simple lesson from one of my bandmates that sticks with me to this day. We were recording an album, and I asked him about hitting the gym. He said, "Hey man, I made a decision that working out is not a priority. I need to hang out with my son instead." He was very clear that he had made a choice about what to do with his limited resource, time. And this was before I had kids. I had just finished my 32nd day of Insanity Max 30, and I was a little puzzled by his decision to just cut out gym time. And I was feeling incredible in my own choices, working out, eating healthy, putting my body first. And to be honest, I was judging him hard. But as I reflected on that conversation over the years, and especially after having kids and starting my own dad journey, I realized how wrong I was. We only have so much time. And we hear that all the time, but sometimes we need to hear it again. With our limited time, we have to make very clear choices. What will we do with it? What will we prioritize? Where are we going in life? And is our decision about time aligned with that path? My friend, with just a few words, and probably without even knowing it, taught me one of the best lessons ever. Choose how you want to spend your precious time. And he made great choices with his time. Today he's the CEO of a very successful startup, and he has an incredible family. Why? Because he learned to say no to the things that came second. They might have, mattered to everyone else, but he realized early on what he wouldn't have time for, and without hesitation, he said no to those things. He focused on what mattered, what he knew he would have time for, and shut down everything else, regardless of what others thought. So what can we learn? Yeah, I need to say no to some things and be 100% okay with that. I need to be clear on what really matters to me and to the people I care about so that I know how to prioritize. I need to let go of the person I'm not so that I can fully invest and embrace who I am and who I'm going to be. And I need to remember that my priorities right now are not everyone else's priorities. And they may not be my priorities later, so I should never judge someone else on their own priorities or be too hard on myself when mine change. You know, we have the power to shape our destiny. So let's go out there and make it happen. I believe that we all have greatness within us. We have the ability to not only do great things, but impact people in great ways. We were made to be great. But greatness is a choice. It's not a when I feel like it. It's not a if only. It's not even when I do this, then I'll be great. No, it's a choice. See, you already have everything you need to be great. It's now up to you to allow yourself to let it out. So the bear, with its natural, cool, and calm presence, it reminds me of the greatness I have inside. It reminds me of the responsibility I now have to make a great impact. Not sometimes, but all the time. See, we never know when the person on the other end needs our greatness in that moment. The bear is a simple reminder of our duty to be great. Not only during power hour, not just during the one-on-ones with the people we like, not just when we're working with our favorite customer, but all the time. People need your greatness, and it's up to you to choose to let it out. And like a bear, your best self and your greatness doesn't have to be aggressive. The bear doesn't have to show teeth. The bear already knows that there is something great inside. And at any moment, when the moment calls for it, the bear inside shows up. And you can handle anything. You've seen it. You've felt it. You've heard it. When your best version is on display, doing what you do best, that's the bear. The Complete Sales Academy is all about reminding you who you are, maybe helping you realize or even redefine who you are, and then giving you the tools, tactics, and motivation to choose greatness. It's time to give yourself permission to let it out so that you can do what you do best and make an impact. Are you ready? Let's do this.
I want to talk about our need for approval. It's crippling, and it doesn't allow us to make the impact we're supposed to be making. The second guessing, deleting and rewriting, the constant doubting, it's not okay. And I'm here to remind you that you are more than enough, and you don't need anyone's validation to live your best life every single day. And there's a trick that will turn it all around. You know, in our journey of life, we often seek approval from others, wanting them to like us, to accept us, and it becomes all about us. But remember, the key to true success and happiness lies not in needing their approval. It's not about us. It's about approving of ourselves and then surrounding ourselves with those that we can impact. Where can we make the greatest impact? That's where we belong. Tony Robbins once said, "The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment." So instead of seeking approval, think of ways that you can serve and make that impact. I have this concept called servant ownership. And the whole idea is that you take ownership of how you can help others get what they want. You step into your role as a leader and you own it fully. How can I help X get Y? That's it. This replaces your need for approval as you shift your focus away from you to helping and providing value. You see, when our dreams become about others, magical things happen. Walt Disney said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." So stand with courage, not looking for acceptance, but looking for a way to lift, to encourage, to empower, to build others up to greatness. See, when we help others, we in turn help ourselves. We get out of our heads, we look at the mirror differently, and usually we end up exactly where we belong. When you seek approval, it's all about you. When you seek servant ownership, it's all about them. And that's a freeing feeling. It takes the pressure off and allows you to create and build something special. So let's start today. Let's have the courage to pursue our dreams that lie within us and let the desire to connect and uplift others guide us. And success will surely follow. Look, believe in yourself. Embrace your uniqueness and let go of the need for constant approval today. Let today mark the beginning of a new focus, an incredible journey of life filled with purpose, of joy, of abundance, where you take true ownership of serving and making an impact like never before. Keep going. Be intentional. Be complete. And always remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen.